Welcome to the galaxy, and this is a video explaining how to make this lightsaber, which is about a 10-minute complete build. I say 10-minute hesitantly because it might not be exactly 10 minutes depending on what access to these parts you have, if you have to go to the hardware store, if you have to do special saws or whatever, but it took me about 10-15 minutes to fully get all these parts out and glued together. So I'll just first go over a rundown of all of the materials I used. So first, a pretty obvious one for a lot of prop making is a hot glue gun. This is a pretty beaten up one. It's like probably 5 or 6 years old, or maybe even older than that. Another obvious, hot glue sticks. Something else that I used was just more standard issue tools, just like, sorry if there's noise in the background, there's a machine going in the background, but there's my ruler that I used, as well as a little box cutter or knife, scissors. I didn't really need a lot of scissors, knife kind of thing in this prop, but some, I mean, for certain circumstances you might want to use it. Another big thing, sandpaper, and more sandpaper. Yeah, it's difficult. I want to get some sort of like belt sander or Dremel tool sander, because it'll make the world of difference from what I've heard. It's so nice that it completely changes like the entire process. But for now, I don't have that. I just have, and okay, another thing I use is I used a saw, just a regular like jigsaw kind of thing, and I did use a little bit of a big bandsaw, I believe it is. I'm sorry if that's not the correct title for it. I'm young and I'm still learning the names of tools and things. But anyway, I did put down some notes. Well, also, I forgot that some of the most important materials are metal PVC, and you'll see why we need 2 of them, and the lengths of these, or the dimensions of these, if you would like to make these, are the long one, or the shorter one is 10 centimeters, and it's a rough cut, but it's about 10 centimeters, and the longer one is about 15.5 centimeters. And then for the smaller pieces like this, and this, and this, and this, they can be different sizes. They don't really have to be anywhere from like 2.5 to this one's probably, yeah, this one's almost 5 inches or 5 centimeters. So anything in that range is probably going to work. It's your lightsaber, so it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but this is just a very simple method, and I think it looks pretty good. Something else I used was a very sorry, I got something in my throat. A very basic washer. They're pretty common. Other buttons that I've seen people use are these little rubbery kind of pieces that actually compress. I've seen some people use just these kind of little greeblies. I've seen nuts and bolts and those kind of things. And actually, where is it? Of course, I had everything organized, and then right as I start the video, it escapes me. Oh, there it is. It was underneath the metal pipes, or the PVC pipes. But a dime also works, American currency dime. That works pretty well. I don't know what I'm going to use for this build, because obviously this is done, so I'm going to be building another basically copy of it. It's going to be a little different. There are going to be changes. You can decide which one you prefer, and if you want to build it, then build it. But another thing is just this kind of thing, little piece. I don't know exactly how it is. You can actually use a drill if you want to be really fancy to get this on with this little kind of O-ring, or there's different terms for them and different styles of them. This just basically allows you to clip it to a belt or a carabiner or something like that and connect them together. So for this one, which I don't have for the new one that we'll be making on camera, sorry, this little piece that goes all the way along it, which is, it kind of is a bummer, so I'm going to try to work around it. If I can't, then I might have to cut this into a part 2 of it, so I'll probably post in the description, if that does have to happen, a part 2. But then there also is the ring here, which I actually just hot glued on, and I didn't really put a pommel or end cap or butt or whatever you want to call it on the lightsaber. But one thing I did do is, you can see up here, this is why you need the 2 pieces, or if you want to do it, it can break, and you can either put more like different styles of emitters on there, which I thought was kind of a neat idea, or you could actually even just kind of put a kyber crystal in there, and I think that's kind of cool, or just like a little toy crystal. And I'm going to try to put my camera down, and let's cross our fingers that this sets up correctly, and yeah, it's not terrible actually. So let's just put something in there, and then I need more actually. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. I'm still learning camera tricks and stuff, but okay, perfect. That'll work pretty well actually. So now let's put the finished lightsaber off to the side as we build this lightsaber. And so we're basically just going to be starting by putting these white pieces along it, and you can pretty much use any of them anywhere. What I'm going to do is use this longest one on here so that the connection between the two. But oh, I forgot this piece too, the emitter piece is at the tip, it's 6.5 centimeters, and at the smaller part is 5.5 centimeters, so it's 1 centimeter down in length. But let's actually do that piece first, and hopefully this doesn't cut and I have to somehow manage to film this together. But basically I'm going to start by doing that. I really hope this doesn't cut, because sometimes it stops recording due to file size on my phone camera, because I don't have an actual camera. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is just put a little hot glue ring around here and do a little bit more, and it depends on how you want to do it. I mean, there are different ways, different style to do it. Let's see, that's pretty even, so I'm gonna make sure I'm watching the camera so I know when it cuts. But yeah, you want to make sure you press it down. Sometimes it won't be completely flush and it won't completely work. This one I got pretty lucky finding these two that are so close in size. And at this point, I'm actually going to make sure, yep, this does work, because it connects in. And then you probably want to put it off to the side, because at this point it'll be pretty brittle. If you want, you could actually put a little extra ring of hot glue right along here, but that's pretty optional. I mean, that holds it in a lot firmer. But there, I'll just put that off to the side, and now let's get to the kind of more fun part, which is doing the main hilt pieces, I should say, actually. So first we'll just start with this. We'll go about halfway down, and then we'll put a little bit of a ring of hot glue. Ow, just burned myself a little bit. Doesn't have to be full coat, but as long as it stretches, it should be fine. and then you want to just push, and then you want to, oh, that's tight. I'm trying to push. Okay, that kind of worked. I have to kind of, sorry, I'm doing this off camera because I have to twist it to move it, and it's really tight. So I think that should be good. Yeah, actually that'll be pretty good. But now what I'm gonna do is pull off the little excess pieces, because this is firmly set on there. And this is more of a prop than a toy, just so you know. So don't